The best piece of advice I would be given is, I would say don't underestimate yourself. I mean, I think I personally am pretty young. I'm 25. People would say, but you don't know anything but 25. You need like 20 years of experience to work in e-commerce to learn things. But I would say otherwise, because if you're curious and if you learn and if you're excited about what you're pursuing, then you will know things.
Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Ask Valor Masterminds podcast, brought to you by A Advanced Services and Fuse Networks. My name is Galen.
I'm Joe.
And we're coming at you from the underbelly of the Creative Block Studios in Seattle, Washington, which of course the studio is available to rent. Joe, can you tell everyone how our podcast started?
Yeah. So it first started out as a private Facebook group page, and the purpose was to bring business owners together to just really communicate and talk and ask questions and share tips about business. Because we're a marketing company, Valor Marketing, we get asked questions outside of marketing. So selfishly, we wanted to create a podcast called the Ask Valor Masterminds podcast, where we bring on different guests to talk about all different topics relevant for any type of business owner. And so today's guest is
all the way from Romania. So I think this is our first guest we've had streaming from Romania, is Alexia Chirita. So everyone, welcome Alexia.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for the invite, guys. It's really, I'm really excited to be here. So, should I start with the introduction?
Sure.
Yeah.
So before we do that, what Alexia's we're going to talk about today is Shopify Websites 101. But before we do that, Alexia, please introduce yourself to our audience.
All right, perfect. So let me start from the beginning. I finished university with a business informatics degree. So basically, I planned on becoming a programmer as when finishing college. And then I worked a little bit in programming, and then I decided, hey, but I want to do a little bit more creative things than just being beside a computer screen, and interact with people a bit more. That's when I decided to go into a company that builds brands, and they hired me like knowing nothing about the industry, and I really liked it a lot, and I had a chance to kind of work with everything regarding e-commerce, like building the brand, product placements, website design, ads. I also did some creative landing pages and ads, and it was a great experience. And after all of this, I would say 2 years there, I decided to go into an agency and work with various clients from various industries and kind of learn a bit from here and there and put my expertise from the previous company in their good hands. And this is how I joined Vevol Media as a project manager and e-commerce specialist. And I kind of worked myself up in the company to a, I would say sales position, but sales is kind of has like a bad reputation. So I would like to say that I'm onboarding clients into the company. So what I do, I try to discover with them their needs. I try to explain them Shopify and how it works. And basically, if they're not yet decided, if they haven't decided yet to go with Shopify, I try to teach them how Shopify can help them to see if it's a match, because sometimes, even though I'm a great advocate of Shopify, sometimes it might not fit each client's needs. Yep. I think it's important to know that, to kind of say no to projects when you should say no. But we don't really do that because usually Shopify is the platform.
Right. Right.
But and what I do now is I kind of help clients with their Shopify stores or onboard them to Shopify.
Okay, so let's get to know you. We have two questions. So the first one I'll ask, and then Joel asks the last one. What is in your career as an e-commerce specialist, not a salesperson, I won't say that, but what is the best piece of advice that you've been given?
The best piece of advice I would be given is, I would say don't underestimate yourself. I mean, I think I personally am pretty young. I'm 25. People would say, but you don't know anything but 25. You need like 20 years of experience to work in e-commerce to learn things. but I would say otherwise, because if you're curious and if you learn and if you're excited about what you're pursuing, then you will know things. And I honestly have been put in positions where I had to teach older people than me how things work in the ecosystem, in the e-commerce ecosystem. And it was a little bit weird to say, hey, but I know this better than you, but at the same time, maybe they didn't have the experience. So I would say trust yourself. This is the best piece of advice I've been given.
I have a follow-up then. Is it because I think that a lot of the younger generation has more passion for what they're doing than maybe some of the older generation? Does that come into place for you as far as you? I think that when you have a passion in something, you want to research it, you want to learn it, you want to learn the ins and outs of it. And I just feel like I see it more in the younger generation. I mean, I'm 44. So in the younger generation would be like maybe 32 and younger. I see that they have a more passion to learn new things versus the old dogs. The older people don't want to learn. Do you see that as well?
I would say that yeah, we might be curious than some older people, but old is a mean word. I wouldn't really say
seasoned.
Older people.
Seasoned. There you go.
Yeah. I think it's very important for us to learn from seasoned people, because if you put all of the trust in a young person who's curious but doesn't necessarily have hands-on experience, then I don't know. For example, I love to learn from more seasoned people in the industry, like my bosses in the company. Thank you, Dan and Bogdan, for everything. Also from the clients. I think it's also important to learn from the clients, because they've been through things. They may have spent their money weirdly on Facebook and Google when they should have put their money into SEO, Yep. So I think it's important to listen and see how other people succeeded.
So you mentioned Google SEO. Joe, our favorite question you like asking?
Absolutely. Why is marketing important?
Why is marketing important? Well, imagine you have a great product, but nobody heard about it. I mean, what's the point? How do you put your product out there if you don't do marketing? Marketing is even telling your friends about your website or telling your family that you just launched a product. Marketing is putting the word out. And how are you going to sell if you're not going to put the word out? And it's important to test a lot of varieties of marketing strategies. Like if you think that SEO might be good for you, try it 6 months, try it 1 year and see the results after that. I think it's very important to test everything out.
Thank you. So now we come to our part of our podcast, our A Advanced Services Pump You Up Quote of the Day. I asked Alexia for a quote. I'm going to read it and then get your thought on it. Pretty simple. Joe, do you mind reading it actually?
Yeah. Just do the thing. Why is that important to you, or why does that resonate with you?
Well, first of all, I'm kind of an overthinker, and everything I do before I just go into everything, I'm thinking it like 15 times before. I'm even building my own brand right now, and I've been overthinking it for the past 2 years. And right now I'm at the point where I'm like, just do the thing, Alexia. Just stop thinking about it. It's very important to test things out. I mentioned earlier it's important to test things out. And you should do it. You should spend some money to gain the insight and see if it was a good decision, if you learned something from it. This resonates with me a lot.
Awesome. So let's get into it even more. Our next segment is our Fuse Networks Did You Know segment.
Millions of cybercriminals are out there on a daily basis trying to steal your information. It's not a matter of if, it's when. Small businesses account for 58% of cyber attacks annually. So help your company fight cybercrime and mitigate risk by being proactive. Call Fuse Networks, your local Seattle IT experts at 206-701-6040 for a complimentary IT network and security assessment.
Joe, for those who don't know what Fuse does, what does Fuse Networks do?
Fuse is an IT managed company that works with small business owners to medium-sized companies, both here locally within the U.S. and I believe in Canada, correct?
Yes, correct. Awesome. So there's a couple myths I want to read and then debunk them before we get into Shopify websites. Really, what does it all entail and mean? So this first one, Shopify is not meant for enterprise clients. You cannot scale. Break that down for us, Alexia.
Yeah, so I've heard this a lot, especially in, I would say the States are a good place for Shopify, but Europe, for example, is, I would say, a pretty small market for Shopify, and they have a lot of, I would say, competitors here. And a lot of folks in Europe are kind of sold on legacy platforms or custom websites where I would say you can scale a little bit easier. But costs with scaling by yourself on a custom platforms are huge because you have to build everything. You need the whole team, the whole infrastructure, security and everything. And I think that brands in Europe need to learn a little bit more about how things are being done in the US on Shopify, because you can go on Shopify Plus when you think you're big enough, and then you realize that you need a little bit more from the platform, and then is where you go headless. Headless is basically where you separate the front end to the back end and kind of rebuild it using Hydrogen and Oxygen, which are other frameworks written specifically for Shopify, where you can kind of do whatever you want and kind of rewrite the whole Shopify ecosystem. I mean, you're still using the backend and everything we love about Shopify, like the customizer, the CRM, the tools, email marketing and everything. You still use the architecture, like the basic architecture of Shopify, but you make it yours. And you can build on top of it whatever you want. And this is something that one of our clients asked about, and they were like, but my website has already so many components. We already have a lot of apps. We built a lot on it, but it's very slow. And this is where we decided, okay, well, it's slow. Let's go headless. You know, it took us like, I think 5 or 6 months to rebuild the whole website. But I don't know, guys, 5 or 6 months for redoing a whole website, like a very big project, is very little compared to other websites that are being built custom in like 1 or 2 years. So I would say that's a win-win. And yeah, they have a great experience. They want to build more on top of the headless website. And yeah, we kind of don't have any limits anymore.
So let's talk about this next myth. Really, I want you to talk to the people who are just starting out. You know, a website sometimes can be expensive enough, and this myth is Shopify is expensive. I mean, you talked a lot of technical components. I know some people listening right now are scared, like, oh, I don't want to sell anything online. It sounds too hard. It sounds like it costs a lot of money. Shopify is expensive. Talk to us about that, please.
Well, we've got the cheapest options with Shopify, which are $39 per month for everything. Like, the only thing that you would need is to purchase a domain, but you can purchase that with like $19 per year. And then you go into Shopify, build your website. You also have free themes. So if you want to start out with a Shopify store, then I honestly wouldn't be thinking of other platforms to start a new website on. And that's because we have a lot of, Shopify is built for entrepreneurs. I mean, do you guys know how Shopify was built?
No.
No.
I mean, we build in WordPress, so our company builds in WordPress, right? And you talk Shopify, so there's like a...
Well, I mean, there's plugins we'll use. We've used Shopify plugins, WooCommerce before in the past. Not to get too technical and everything, but that's kind of... We're not developers sitting here in front of you, so we don't understand the technical back and forth of everything, so...
So let me talk you how Shopify started out. So it was 2005, and the owner, like the now CEO of Shopify, wanted to build himself a snowboard website where he was a really big fan of snowboarding and wanted to also sell his products to his friends, his family, his other people from the community. And he kind of looked around over platforms and didn't like anyone. And because he was a programmer, he said, let me build my own website. He built his own website. He really liked how it turned out. And he then started to sell the product, like the platform that he built, to his friends and family and acquaintances. They wanted to build their online stores. And this is how it started. It was like a snowball, like the snowball effect, you know, with everything compounded, one thing after the other. And then more developers came on board. There was a board created to decide things around Shopify. And this is where we are now, to a $1 billion company. And this, I would say, is the fundamental of Shopify. Toby wanted to build something that was very easy for small entrepreneurs to sell their products on, and this is how it continued. So now it's very easy for anyone. There are plenty of tutorials on YouTube. There are plenty of agencies that help you get started with a website for like, I don't know, a couple $100 just for the setup and everything. There's also a very big platform provided by Shopify for blogs and documentations, and you can kind of learn from that place. So you can start cheap. You can start with like the $39 per month plan and just make profit, and then you can add more on top of it. But there is another layer of Shopify where people already have their platform set up and they're paying a lot, and but why am I paying a lot? I don't really like it. I want to go with WooCommerce, which is free. I don't need to pay anything. And this is where I'm looking at I don't mean to blame WooCommerce. WooCommerce is great, but now I'm talking about Shopify, so I need to hype Shopify up. So the thing with people that get into this point is they have been either working with developers that kind of added a lot of apps which come with a lot of additional costs because maybe they didn't know how to do things without the apps, or maybe the theme they're working in is kind of faulty or not official. And this is something that's happening a lot with people buying themes, adding a lot of plugins, the website being very slow, and we're like, okay, well, how much did you pay for the theme? $89, but like an official theme can come to like 200, like kind of the cheapest are around 200, and you get like 3 times the value of a third-party theme, And this is when it becomes expensive. When you don't work with the right people, you add a lot of things, and you kind of don't really know how to continue.
So let's talk about that for a second. This last myth. I think Joel will have a follow-up question, I believe.
Yeah.
But read this one. Because this is why this topic was so intriguing to us about working with Shopify sites.
So I can't have full control over everything in the ecosystem.
Okay. Let me think for a second about this one. The thing is, you don't necessarily want control over everything with your online store. Like, one of the reasons people go to Shopify is because they don't want to be responsible for security, hacking, phishing, and things like that.
Yeah.
And with Shopify, you kind of get everything by default. You don't need to pay additional money for increased security. There hasn't been like one successful phishing attempt with Shopify in like never. It's very secure, and this is why you kind of pay the at least $39 per month with Shopify. You don't necessarily want control over everything. I mean, as I said, if you want control over like 90% of the website, go headless or go custom.
Yeah.
But I would say that it's not necessarily needed to have control. I think it's kind of an old mentality from people that kind of had issues with their websites, with their Shopify, with other platforms. And it's kind of like they have deep down in their heads, I need to have control over everything. What if the platform falls? What if hackers attack the platform? I mean, it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
But I definitely understand their concerns, and I always address this thing like whenever I speak about migrations.
So then how does agencies get full access to a Shopify website? So realistically, you need admin access to the website. And a lot of times, most companies are not going to give cPanel access, but they'll give FTP access to the website. So
and Joe, preface it to the audience who may not understand that, why an agency like a Valor Marketing would need access. What is the end game?
So the end game for SEO then, for the access, is so that they can optimize the website on not just with the admin access, but then also with the back-end access of the website. So sometimes within the WordPress, WordPress only gives the admin, you get certain accesses correct, but then you need full access to the back end of the website to implement other aspects of SEO. So within a Shopify website, the only thing I heard of, and this was a couple years ago, is that Shopify has an FTP plugin for Shopify. Is that correct?
Up until now, everything regarding SEO has been done with the themes code. So how we are addressing technical implementation of SEO audits is we go into the themes code and kind of edit things there. Up until now, you're right. There were some areas where we as developers couldn't interfere. For example, there was a default robots.txt file that we did not have access to. But I think last year or last 2 years, they gave us access to that.
Okay.
So basically, yeah, I do under this. I would say this is a limitation of Shopify because there are some things very deep in the backend where you do not have access to, but this has been done by them. So people that don't know how to control them don't go into the robots.txt file and write weird stuff there that will have a negative impact on the website.
And so basically they can't break their website, correct? So like if a SEO team comes in and they don't know fully what they're doing, without complete access, they give them enough to do what they're supposed to do for SEO on the back end, but they don't give enough or they're going to break the site, correct?
Yeah. I mean, I've heard about people that kind of did wrong things to clients' websites, like implemented wrong things and so on, but never break them. Everything was reversible.
Okay.
So let's get into really Shopify websites 101. So people could go to Shopify, get the $39 plan or whatever, start basic. What are one or two things wrong you see people do when they try to do it on their own? Are there one or two common things you see like, oh, don't do that, you should be doing this? Are there some glaring things that you notice?
Yeah, I think I touched the subject really briefly a little bit earlier, which is don't buy third-party apps and themes. Go into the dashboard. There's a reason why that dashboard exists. It's because Shopify has a lot of regulations and standards for coding and everything. And we, as an agency, we at Vevol Media just launched our own official Shopify theme, and it took us like 1 year to write it. I mean, it was our first. It was we also had clients on the other side, so we couldn't like not do clients' work and do theme work. So it took a little bit longer than we wanted it, but it was also because there were a lot of standards and a lot of things that we needed to do to put the theme into the official dashboard. And we noticed a lot of clients that come in with third-party themes that are complaining about bad speed of the website and very incorrect SEO things in the back end, like not the robots.txt one, but other like breadcrumbs or H1s, H2s and things like that. And that's because when you're paying very little money on a theme that has everything, it's something fishy, right? Yeah, that's because it is. So this would be my number one don't buy third-party themes because they're gonna cost you a lot in the future. And besides like the cost, you're gonna get frustrated. Like 1 year into the website, you will have a lot of things you've been working on and you still don't convert. It's still slow. Marketers still don't know why it's not converting. Usually it's because of that. So I would not recommend third-party themes.
Is Shopify only for selling products online, or could a small business owner use Shopify just to use it as an informational only website where they don't sell products?
Well, you could do that, but it kind of, for example, if you plan on adding products to your website, then it would be great to start there because you will have the domain warmed up, you would have, traffic and things like that, and it would be a good idea. But if you're not doing that, I mean, Shopify is very much based around converting people to for selling products. And I think you wouldn't necessarily need all of the features and pay for the plan if you're not gonna, use the features. I would go for a website like that with WordPress, Webflow, or other platforms where you can kind of do a very simple setup. However, we do have a client that wanted a very custom front. He doesn't know if he's gonna add products to the website, but he has other 3 websites on Shopify. And what we have done for them is build a Shopify store with no products, but with the intent of adding products in the next year when he will have them ready. So this is something.
How about if you go the other way, Alexia? Let's say you have a business that has a website. Let's say they've been around 10 years, 8 to 10 years. And all of a sudden, now they have a product that they want to sell. They love their existing website. They've made updates to it. They've invested in it. But now they want to sell products on there or whatever, classes or services. How does that work? What does that workflow look like? So to the business owner out there that has it, is thinking about this, do they just go in and I'm going to sign up for this $39 plan, then plug it into my website? Talk about those parts to get that website to convert to a shopping site or some features of a shopping site, but keeping the website intact.
This is a very good question, and is also a case study that we have with a client. So let me walk you through it. It's exactly what you're mentioning. Up until now, they have been a platform for teaching people musical instruments. They had some online courses, they had some tutorials and everything, and also if you wanted to learn the flute, you can get like the notes and I don't really know the word for like the where do you read like the notes from, but you get the idea, the musical sheets there.
Yeah.
And they wanted to add the courses to be purchased with a better shopping experience. Up until then, they were using WordPress, not even WooCommerce. I don't really know what they have been using, but it was not effective at all. And what we have added to their website was a Shopify checkout. And only that. The website still remained on WordPress. The client still could browse through the categories, through the pages, through the musical sheets. But then if they wanted to purchase a course, they would go into a Shopify backend. And only the checkout was on Shopify. The stores were still connected to one another. But they chose Shopify because the Shopify checkout has been built to increase conversion rate significantly on its own. So you've got 39%, these are actual statistics. The Shopify checkout converts 39% better than any other checkout. And this is why they chose to do that. So they were paying for the $39 plan, but they were only using the Shopify checkout. And it turned out amazing for them. It was like their clients suddenly started writing them emails about, hey, I really love the new experience. I'm so happy that I can buy these products now like this. And honestly, it was very heartwarming for us, seeing the customer feedback. So yeah, what you're asking is a common situation.
How about the situation where, that same situation, let's say you help a customer put a shopping cart on their site, but let's just say they only had 10 products. But 6 months from now, they have 5,000 products. Does the increase in products mean a higher price if they're going to hire you as an agency, or how does that work? And how much work is it on the customer? Do they have to upload 5,000 product SKUs themselves, or do they get support with like a partner, an agency like yours? Talk to us about that process.
Yeah, so with the era of AI and everything, doing manual work it's not something that anyone wants to do anymore. So what we do is always try to automate things. Automate imports, automate exports, automate adding new products on the website, automating translation of descriptions and collection pages and everything. So something like that, adding from one day to another 5,000 products can be done in 10 minutes with Shopify. If you do have an Excel file, or if you do work with a correct app, you can import everything in minutes. It's very easy. And what we're trying to do is also add these automation flows to our clients, so they are not doing manual work themselves anymore. So, for example, I was speaking to a client about how she's doing the package slips for the carrier company. And she said, oh, well, I'm printing all of them by myself. And I went crazy that moment, because we've been working with her for 2 years now. And we just found out that she was printing the slips herself and putting them on the boxes and everything, and doing the package slips herself. And I was like, it's impossible for you to do that. Let me automate that, and you can never do that again. When we just save her hours of work in a couple of minutes doing a automation flow. So there are a lot of opportunities there to automate, and we can help with that. We can help set up these automations.
So you mentioned AI, and it's a topic you can't ignore anymore for every kind of business, not only e-commerce shopping, but just everything. But specifically for Shopify websites, how much does AI play into it? And I'll position it this way. let's say I have 100 products I'm selling, then I wrote these product descriptions maybe 5 years ago, and I need to help AI update my product descriptions. Is that something you guys help automate, or how does that work if they want to update that?
I would say that we are only developers, so what we do is doing the code behind this, but we have enough knowledge to know apps and platforms that can do this for the clients. And it's happening. Clients often have, for example, they are purchasing their products from a Polish website and they need to add the product in like English or French on their website. And what we do is we automate and translate automatically all the descriptions into the language that they want using tools. So for example, Shopify has some AI tools integrated within the platform. And beside the translating one, there is also Sidekick. Sidekick is a new app in Shopify. App is a big word. It's a new feature in Shopify where you can tell Sidekick, hey, I want you to increase the product price to 15% for all t-shirts. And then the app is gonna just go and manually automatically implement everything in the backend. And this is something that's been really cool when it appeared, and we started working with it more and more often because we can automate everything, and this really helped a lot, especially the client when there are like Black Friday sales, they want to add and remove tags right away. It helped a lot.
So I'm going to go one last question. So I know that you guys build Shopify websites, but if someone already has a Shopify website and they just need help, going in there and tweaking some things and adding some more products, do you also take on new clients that they'll just go in there and modify a Shopify website for a business?
So if I'm understanding the question correctly, you're asking about clients that want to change things after we implement them?
Let's say a business already built a Shopify website by themselves, but now they're having issues and they want to implement certain things. Can they just reach out to you to basically make changes to their current Shopify website?
Oh, we'd love to do that. We love to optimize their stores and see if they have any issues and kind of teach them about new things around. So for example, I was having this client. I'm always giving examples. I like giving examples. Yeah, so I had this client that was really looking up to another website and said, hey, how is this being done? Like it was a buy X, get Y discount type of promotion. And he was very excited about it and wanted to implement that himself. And he asked us, how complicated is this to implement? And I was like, it takes us 5 seconds to do that. And he was, oh, really? How can I do that? Go and show us. And I clicked like 3 clicks and added that promotion to his website. And he was like, I'm mind blown. I had no idea that I could do that. And I was like, man, but you're having this Shopify website since like the beginning of the year. And, yeah, clients want to be taught stuff. They want to learn new things. And you might say some things are common sense and they know it, but apparently it's not something that happens all of the time, and it was exciting for me to see his excitement when he saw that he didn't need to spend money to add this feature to his website.
So for people that have a Shopify site and that specific example that fits them, or they need to get a hold of you guys, what's the best way to reach you guys and learn about you guys?
Well, directly on our website, we do have a very pretty website. It's built by us, obviously. And we have a contact form there. But what I do encourage everyone to do is follow us on LinkedIn, follow myself, follow Dan on LinkedIn, because we always post news about Shopify. So because we're partners, we kind of have access to information that doesn't necessarily appear right away within the Shopify changelogs and things. And when we do get that information, we share it on social media. We try to send our clients notifications about that. So just if you don't plan on using us at the moment, just follow us on LinkedIn so you can kind of stay up to date with everything. And when you need us, just write us a message.
Awesome.
So on behalf of our sponsors, A Advanced Services and Fuse Networks, my name is Galen.
I'm Joe.
Coming at you from the underbelly of the Creative Block Studios in Seattle, Washington. Thank you to Alexia Chirita, all the way from Romania, our first guest from Romania, joining us to learn about Shopify website. So thanks everyone in tuning in and listening to this episode of the podcast. Thanks, Alexia.
Thank you.
Thank you guys, this was fun. We should do it again.
Yeah.
We're running a promotion starting today till the end of the year. Use Creative Block from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday for a flat fee of only $250. That is a value of $675 for those 9 hours. Host meetings, have a shared workspace, hang out, host classes, create some content, or whatever. We have air conditioning, multiple TVs, tables and chairs, comfy couches, Bluetooth connection to our nice speaker system, lighting, and many more add-ons. For more information, reach out to Mark at creativeblockseattle@gmail.com or visit our website, www.creativeblockseattle.com. Thanks.